Very good afternoon, everyone. Srishti, Hina, Trisha, Shikhar, and I think people are still joining in. Vardhaman, good to see you. Very good afternoon to all of you. अरे सर जी नमस्कार, सुनील नमस्कार. क्या चल रहा है? सबका बढ़िया चल रहा है. आई होप एवरीबडी इज डूइंग वेल. सृष्टि सर कहाँ हो आप सर? मैं लखनऊ में हूँ. I didn't understand the question, but if yeah, I'm in Lucknow. I don't know how else to answer that question. Hi Payal, how are you? Kavish Yadav, hi Kavish, क्या हाल चाल है? सर आपके नंबर मिल सकते हैं क्या? बिल्कुल हीना, why not? I think सबके पास तो है ही. Already a lot of people I think have already have my number, but just in case you don't have it, just that okay. Rekha, hi. Sunil says घूट ले रखी है क्या सर? ये क्या हो गया? अरे अपने आप ही ऑफ हो गया था. Is SLAT easier than CLAT? Yes, I think SLAT is definitely easier than CLAT, and I'll give you a simple explanation for why. Is because by default competition थोड़ा सा कम है होगा ना. It's just a practical thing that the competition by default is a little lesser than the CLAT examination, and the reason for that is also pretty kind of so to say straightforward, because obviously if somebody is getting a top 100 or a top 200 rank in you know the CLAT examination, then most likely they're not going to be joining in the symbiosis law school, right? टॉप 300 भी है, कुछ है उस टाइप का अगर है, तो in any case ऐसा होता नहीं है कि you know they will leave the like the top national law schools and actually decide to join symbiosis. So on that basis I'm saying that that the CLAT examination is definitely easier. The CLAT examination, sorry, the SLAT examination, the symbiosis examination is definitely easier than the CLAT examination. Okay, level of difficulty और वो सब की अगर हम लोग बात करें, right, is the exam itself a little more difficult you know than the CLAT paper? Then I don't think so. I think level of difficulty by and large बहुत similar है, except of course like I said, competition क्योंकि toppers usually national law universities ही prefer करेंगे, right? So that's one reason. In any case, okay, we have some interesting discounts running for you again, right? बीच में कुछ दिनों तक discounts बंद थे, but we have now again for a couple of days we have some interesting discounts, particularly Hope 50, which is the discount code for the Summer of Hope, is going to be running today and tomorrow, right? Today and tomorrow we are going to have this discount code that you can use. Of course, it's very important that all of you remember we have a really excellent array, right? Excellent group of you know revision courses that we are currently running. There is the rapid revision course, there is the practice series as well, right? एक practice series है जो इस फोटो में नहीं है, but you know practice के लिए for AILET and SLAT we are doing a 30-day practice revision course. There is the mega booster course for GK where Abhimanyu and Rabia, as you can see, are going to be taking your sessions, and of course Nivedita is also taking up a master legal reasoning, which is another booster course for legal aptitude in particular. There is Of course, an interesting batch launch tomorrow, right? For those of you who are looking for the next year's examination, right? Those of you, I know that most of you तो अभी काफी स्ट्रेस में है कि भाई इस साल का पेपर पहले खत्म तो हो, इस साल बहुत कुछ अच्छा अच्छा करना है, you know, and so on. But those of you who are looking at next year, we have the comprehensive course batch for batch 6, which is getting launched tomorrow itself. Right? Chalo, questions pe aate hain. We'll keep looking at a few more of these kind of things. Let us now jump right into it. Let us jump right into it. Okay. Ayush Jen, sir. Can you bring some lecture for NMIMS? Okay, Narsi Monji, because it is on 3rd July, and sir, what was the cutoff for NMIMS last year? I don't have exact details about Narsi Monji and what was the cutoff and so on, but what I would suggest is you wait for the CLAT result, right? You look थोड़ा पहले CLAT के कराते ही हैं ताकि you know time ना दें और ये सब, but at the end of the day, give that examination, give it well, you know, and so on. But ultimately just try to see if you can wait for the CLAT result before actually paying any fees. But ठीक है, वो तो हम results के बाद और उसके बाद करेंगे तो it will be a little better to understand. Do you think that there is going to be change any further? I don't think so. I really don't think there's going to be any further change. Okay, which of the following states recently introduced a reservation of all government jobs, सारे government jobs में for the children of the state, right? जो उसी state के हैं, ये मामा जी की सरकार, very famously known as मामा जी कौन है? शिवराज चौहान, right? And the state, of course, is the state of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, state of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, question number 2. Determine which of the following judgments pronounced by the Honorable Supreme Court is not related to reservation based on residence. Okay, not related to. Correct, यहाँ पर important word है not related to the state based. Okay, residence based नहीं है. Okay, residence based तो इनमें से कुछ भी नहीं है ना. Okay, both A and B और none of the above में कैसे हम लोग यहाँ पर चूज करेंगे? Okay, both A and B. Okay, none of the above होता तो मतलब दोनों हैं, ऐसा वाला लॉजिक हो जाता. Okay, question number 2, I think C is the best answer. Option C, neither of these are reservation based on residence. Okay, question number 2, option C is the correct answer. Okay, Sunil sir, Mama ji. Okay, sir, any update about BHU and Maharashtra? Not at all. Kajol, even I've been, I think, quite delayed now. अब तो आ ही जाना चाहिए, but देखते हैं. Question number 3. In which case the Honorable Supreme Court of India has pronounced a judgment on PM cares? So PM cares के बारे में तो सबको पता ही है, right? Everybody has read and heard about the PM cares issue, right? कि ये करेंगे कि नहीं, वो करेंगे कि नहीं, हम कौन सा इसमें ऑक्सीजन प्लांट कितने बनने हैं, फिर RTI में आएगा नहीं आएगा, all of these issues sort of started to come up. Very famous case, and the correct answer is option A. The correct answer is option A. Yes, most of you are right. Keith is saying A. I think you are thinking correct. You are thinking absolutely correct. It is, of course, option A is the correct answer. Okay, the Center for Public Interest Litigation versus the Union of India. Okay, Elsa Stephens says, sir, can you try to speak in English? I think I can try. Try what is there to try? But I understand. Perhaps you are not conversant with Hindi language at all, right? So I'll try to keep it as English as possible. And if anyone is not comfortable with it, then you have to let me know in the chat box, and then I can speak in any other language, because we have people, of course, I understand, who don't necessarily understand any other language here. Okay, question number 3. Option A, of course, is the correct answer. Okay, moving on. Which of the subsequent observations is incorrect? Okay, concerning the judgment pronounced by the Supreme Court on the so we are talking about this case only, right? The Center for Public Interest Litigation versus Union of India. Now the question is, what was held, right? What was the order? What was the judgment in this particular thing? Okay, what is not the judgment? Which of this is incorrect? Okay. The Supreme Court accepted a petition which sought the transfer of funds from PM CARES to NDRF, the National Disaster Relief Fund. No. So option A is anyway incorrect. Okay. And all of the above is also an option. Okay, so we need to check. The court maintained that there was a need for a new National Disaster Relief Plan for COVID-19. That's by a national plan. No. There's some specific issues, yes. The court held that the bare minimum standards of relief as issued under the Disaster Management Act before COVID-19 was not enough. Okay, so the correct answer here is all of the above. All of the above, and I just want to explain. Please note option B and D are correct. Okay, but these were not held in the PM CARES case. Okay, so these are correct statements. Option B and D are by and large correct, but these are different judgments. These are not coming from the PM CARES order. So that's why that's why I would think option D, all of the above, is the correct answer. Right? Option D is the correct answer, right? Okay, question number 5. Question number 5. In a significant judgment, okay guys, just give me 1 second. Okay. In a significant judgment, the Supreme Court not long ago, okay, held that daughters would have equal rights. So this is a 2005 amendment, right? They would have equal right to inherit ancestral property as sons in a Hindu unmarried family, saying that the amendment in law in 2005 shall have retrospective effect. Okay, there shall be retrospective effect. What is that very, very famous case? You should just remember it. It is the Vinita Sharma case. Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma is the correct answer for this question. Right? Earlier, so before 2005, women under Hindu law did not have an equal right to property. Right? So succession में सिर्फ sons को मिलता था. They had no right to property, in fact. Correct. So that was all changed in 2005, and sort of we moved on from there, and now of course it is an equal right. Okay, about the quorum which pronounced on the issue of Hindu Succession Act and the rights of women, which of the following statements is true? So Vinita Sharma wale case mein, which of the following is true? Vinita Sharma case was it was a 2-judge bench. No, it was a 3-judge bench. Okay, there is only one option, right? There's only one option, option B. I know Justice Arun Mishra was definitely part of it. Justice Arun Mishra ke baare mein, by the way, do you know something else which is important about Justice Arun Mishra? This is just want to talk to all of you about some additional information. Justice Arun Mishra is the first non-CJI to become the chairperson of the NHRC. NHRC is the National Human Rights Commission. National Human Rights Commission of India is the NHRC. So you should just sort of try to remember this additional information. Correct answer here is option B, Bombay. Correct answer is option B, Bombay. But please note this additional information is very, very important, right? NHRC is National Human Rights Commission, and he's the first non-CJI, the first non-CJI, which is very, very important. Okay, question number 7. According to the Consumer Protection Amendment Act, okay, according to the Consumer Protection Amendment Act of 2019, what is the system when the seller manipulates the price to the consumer? So manipulate agar karta hai, manipulates the price is restricted trade practice, right? Unfair trade practice is not manipulation. That is when you are affecting like other sellers and you are doing like lesser price में, बहुत कम price में, loss में बेच रहे हैं, and you are selling it at a loss, hoping that other competitors, your competition is ultimately going to die and they are not going to be able to survive, and then you will sell it at whatever price you want to, right? So that's an unfair trade practice. This is a restricted trade practice, right? Option C is the correct answer. Okay, question number 8. Which body has held that the states can grant reservation in postgraduate admissions to government doctors serving in remote areas? तो ये कौन, which body क्या है? तो obviously this is the Supreme Court of India. Very, very famous judgments, very, very famous order at least, where the Supreme Court had decided that there can be reservation because certain government doctors are serving in like very, very forgotten parts of this vast nation, right? And they're doing a huge public service because there is no access to appropriate medical care and so on. So if they are doing all of these things, they can be provided a certain benefit, and that benefit can be easier admission to their postgraduate courses and so on. So therefore, of course, answer is option C, Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court of India. Okay, what is the penalty imposed on Prashant Bhushan by the Supreme Court for his criminal contempt? It's 1 rupee. It was a very, very nominal. Do you guys remember this one? The answer is option C, of course. Do you remember this particular case? Those of you who were reading newspapers will definitely remember this very, very interesting contempt petition that had happened when Justice Bobde, Sharad Arvind Bobde, was already the Chief Justice of India, right? That time, right? After that, of course, now we have a new Chief Justice in Justice Ramanna. But that time Justice Bobde was the Chief Justice, and he had put up a picture of Justice Bobde on a bike and saying he's not wearing a helmet or something like that, among other things, right? Among other things, that he's not wearing a helmet. Now the bike was stationary, okay? The bike was not moving. He was simply standing next to a bike and getting his photograph clicked. So now, if you're simply standing next to a bike, of course, of course, that is not something that you would that you require to wear a helmet. So anyway, and he had gone ahead and abused like a lot of former chief justices and how the allocation of cases, etc., were happening and so on. So anyway, finally, contempt notice of 1 rupee. He still refused to give it. No, of course he gave it. Vardhaman, of course he gave the 1 rupee. Not how would he refuse? Then he would have definitely gone to jail, no? So we do passage-based questions. Today's thing is AILET and SLAT, right? Today's marathon is AILET and SLAT. AILET and SLAT does not have passage-based questions. Just a gentle reminder to all of you. Just a gentle reminder for all of you. I'll just mention it here. Today's session is AILET and SLAT. Okay. So they do not have passage-based questions. So it will not be passage-based questions. It will be dominated primarily by legal GK. Okay. I hope everybody is clear. Quite a few people had been, I think, asking on the chat box, right? So it's not going to be, there's no passage-based questions. We are going to do only GK questions, right? Only GK, legal GK session. only lot of legal GK only. That's what we are going to do today, right? Okay, excellent. Let's move on. Question number 10. The practice of a very famous case. I am sure everybody on the chat box can tell me the correct answer, and we would have reached question number 10. Question number 10 is our halfway mark. Question number 10 is our halfway mark. No, it's our 10%. Right? We have 100 questions to do. We are reaching question number 10. Everybody knows the answer. Shaira Bano case. Okay, very famous. Okay. Okay, these are all current affairs based questions. So you should know. Those of you who don't know some of the answers, please do remember it. Please do note it down. I hope all of you are sitting with a pen and paper. Right, completely free session as well. We're not charging you for this. This is directly streaming on YouTube. Make the most of it, right? Make the most of it. The Constitution 126th Amendment Bill extends the timeline for reservation system, which was introduced for 70 years, for another how many years? वो हर बार, every single time it is usually extended. It has been initially, it was for a period of 10 years. Then it became 20 years, then it became 30 years, then it became 40, 50, 60, 70. Now it is another 10 years has been added. That means it is now going to be for 80 years, right? So now it is extended by another 10 years, that is 80 years. Okay. The Epidemic Diseases Amendment Ordinance 2020, which was promulgated on which date? Amends the Epidemic Diseases Act. On which date was it done? It was done immediately after the initial lockdown. When was the initial lockdown? You remember? 22nd March was Janta Curfew, right? 22nd March was for Janta Curfew, and then from 24th of March we had imposed a national level lockdown, and the amendment was done about 1 week. After that, 1 week, 2 days, whatever, immediately after that. So that is 2nd of April. On the 2nd of April, the amendment procedure, etc. was already taken care of. The answer is option C, 2nd April 2020. 22nd March, option B में जो दिया हुआ है, that is Janta Curfew. 24th March is proper lockdown, and then 2nd April was the amendment. Okay, who introduced the Motor Vehicles Amendment Bill in the Parliament? Okay, so this is something that you should be able to guess. So motor vehicles basically is in the context of road transport and so on and so forth, right? So who is in charge of road transportation and all of those things? Who is in charge of all of those things? Nitin Gadkari, right? Very good. Most of you are able to guess because he is the minister who handles road transportation in India in any case. Currently, he is basically what is known, basically the roadways minister of India is Nitin Gadkari. So that is the correct answer. Prahlad Joshi, P. Joshi ji nahi hai. Joshi ji ka ho gaya time, wo abhi bahut time pehle. He was a long time ago. Oscar Fernandez also is not a cabinet minister anymore. Kamal Nath is of course from the opposition, and this is a bill which was actually enforced by the parliament. Okay, question number 14. The Citizenship Amendment Act grants citizenship to members of Hindu, Christian, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain and Parsi communities who came to India from Pakistan and Afghanistan till what date? Okay, very important question. Very important question. Nitin Gadkari told Tesla will come in 2021. Okay, Ayush, I honestly did not know. Road Mantri. Yes, question number 14. When should you have come to India? When should you have come to India? Should have come to India when? Before 31st December 2014. Before 31st December 2014, and that's the cutoff date, right? So anybody who has come till that date, the Citizenship Amendment Act will apply only to those people, And just to be very clear, Citizenship Amendment Act, the act has been amended so many times. This is the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, right? Because it's also important for you guys to remember the Citizenship Act 1955, okay, year is 1955, has been amended 6 times till date. Okay, it has been amended 6 times till date, and the last amendment is the amendment of 2019, wherein we passed the law that this is going to happen. Okay. Okay, the taxation and other laws, relaxation of certain provisions ordinance 2020 extend the last date of filing original as well as revised income tax returns for the financial year 2018 and 19, to which date it was pushed by 1 month. It was assessment year 2019-20, it was pushed by 1 month because of the lockdown, right? We had last year so much of the lockdown and so on and so forth, right? So it was extended by 1 month, that is, it was extended to 30th of June. It was extended to 30th of June 2020. Sorry, 2 months. Strike was there. Prasoon Singh has a question. Sir, does CA does not apply to current minority population of Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan? No, it does not. It applies only to people who had entered India. People who had entered India before 2014 31st December. It applies only to those people. It does not apply to everyone. Okay, so that's that, right? Clear, I hope. Okay, 30th June, extension of deadlines and dates. On which date was the, okay, very, very famous date, 4th of August. This is 4th of August, 5th of August. Shit, I am so sorry. This is 5th of August. I always thought 4th of August. But take 5th of August, it said. Can I just check? Jammu Kashmir. What date was it? Yeah, it's 5th. I'm so sorry. Somehow I kept thinking it's the 4th for some reason, but it's okay. It is, of course, 5th of August is the correct answer. Okay, let's move on. The Finance Bill 2020 was passed by the Lok Sabha. That includes how many amendments? Well, I mean, a lot of amendments. How many amendments? It was less than 40, less than 50. Less than 50 would be my guess, which means more than 40 is probably the right answer. But I honestly don't know. GST itself has more than I think about 26 amendments or 28 amendments, and then we had a few changes to income tax. So I'm just trying to figure out. Pension, Rajiv Gandhi equity scheme. Altogether, yeah, option B would be my reasonable guess, but I'm honestly not sure. Let me tell you honestly. Yes, B is the correct answer. Damn, I'm feeling lucky today now. Now I'll go do some trading on the stock market today because I'm feeling good about how my luck is going. Okay, 17 is option B. 18. Let's go. The new regulator, okay, introduced by the International Financial Services Centers Authority Bill is in charge of what kind of products that must have prior approval from the appropriate financial products. Okay, it's not banking product, cannot be investment product, any service product regulated by SEBI. No, SEBI is going to regulate its own thing. Financial products here. Question number 18. The answer is option C, financial products. What's the answer given? The answer given is also option C. Question number 18. Done. Excellent. Okay, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, the IBC, very, very famous law that has come, was introduced to resolve insolvency for companies or for individuals or for companies and NBFCs. For companies and individuals both. If I want to personally file for bankruptcy of course the insolvency and bankruptcy code will be applicable. Similarly, if a company wants to file for bankruptcy, again the IBC or the whatever, the insolvency and bankruptcy code continues to be applicable. So question number 19, option C, both of the above, that is both A and B, is the correct answer. Okay, am I missing too many things on the chat, or is everybody answering the questions? Everything is going good? Sir, what will be the date for the Maharashtra CET? Pratik, first of all, good to see you after such a long time. I don't think I've seen you in some time, Pratik. Good to have you here. How are you doing? Second of all, unfortunately, I don't have any clue. How and why do you think I would know the answer to that? Maharashtra CET will inform you, and before they inform you, there is no secret information that I will get. No. So unfortunately, I actually don't know the answer. Okay, Riddhi Goenka had a question, sir. How to prepare static GK for AILET exam this year? Static GK, very well. I mean, I honestly don't know, but NCRT would probably be the best place to start. Like if you're talking about static GK, so that's your history and so on. I think the best place would be to start off with NCRT, right? Freedom movement, क्या history में what all is there? What all is there in your syllabus? For instance, just to give you guys an idea, क्या करें? मैं बस कहना चाह रहा था कि okay, quick break from the marathon. No, quick break from the marathon. And just to a static syllabus, static syllabus. For instance, okay, let me just take it to the I would think there is ancient history. Okay, history itself. So that's your Harappan period. From what is the Harappan period is approximately 2600 BC. All right, then you have Neo-Harappan and so on, Vedic period, right? Then you have medieval, followed by whatever, Mughals, Sultanate, Mughals. What is it? Then freedom movement, right? So this much is just history. This much is just history, for instance, and all of this, the best place to look for it is NCRT. Okay, the best place to look for and study all of this would be NCRT, in my opinion. So similarly, static GK is for static syllabus. For again, you have geography, you have what else is there? Basic sciences, and a lot of other things, right? So just keep a track of all of these things as much as possible, and that's probably the best way to sort of go about it, right? Okay. Okay, question number 20 पे आते हैं. We've taken a short break from all of these things. Yes, sir. NCRT. Pratik says, hi, sir. I'm good. You recognize me? My pleasure. always, Pratik. Good to see people I have met before. Political science? Nah, I don't think political science. In the civilization, Satvinder, I think in the civilization is a very British term that people use. But as a student of history, I definitely believe it should be referred to as the Harappan period. Polity is not part of static GK, it is part of static legal GK, right? That is static legal GK. It's not it's not the same thing. Okay, anyway, the code on wages bill was passed in 2019 by the Minister of Labor. Who is the Minister of Labor? Minister of Labor, I think, is Santosh Gangwarji, no? Santosh Gangwarji, I think, is the Minister of Labor. Yeah, Labor Minister is Santosh Gangwar. Okay, question number 21. The Arms Amendment Bill 2019 reduces the period for firearm ownership in India from हाँ, पहले 5 साल था, 2 साल कम किया गया है. It was 5 years. It has been reduced by 2 years. So reduced by 2 years मतलब reduced to 3 years. So 5 years is the option D. Option D, Delhi, is definitely the best answer in this particular case. Okay, let's go to question number 22. Which of the following amendments passed in 2019 provide companies with an option to choose a reduced corporate tax rate? Well, I mean, I really doubt if they're going to sort of ask you such detailed questions. In this case, the correct answer is the Taxation Laws Amendment Act of 2019. That is option A. But probably this is a question where I wouldn't ask you to take down notes and definitely try to remember the answer to this one, because it's a little too tough for CLAT examination. Now, I'm a practicing corporate lawyer, right? So I do corporate consultancy work and this and that. So these are laws that I have to use sort of every day, and I advise my chartered accountants team to use these laws. So important for me, but probably not that important, for you. Okay, sir, please take a. सही बात है. Okay. Sir, UPS is good for law. I mean, it's not bad. A good though. So if UPS is good, then what is RML and what is HNLU? Right? RML and HNLU will be good, right? Then and then like NUJS and NLU Jodhpur are very good. GNLU is very good probably, and NLS Bangalore is the best. So UPS doesn't really fall in the good category. It probably falls in the not bad category, right? Not bad. Okay, so that's my answer. Madhu, that's my answer. Yes. Padmaza, sir, please take a special class for SLAT writing abilities. I'm so confused about this examination. Okay, we'll try to. So writing abilities, so kya, but GD session and so on. We're trying to figure out how best, how best we can really do that. But we'll see. We'll see what particularly can be done. Okay, when was the Constitution Amendment Bill of 2020? When was it introduced? This was, okay, I'm not sure actually, but it was early. So either 6th January or 7th February. One of the two must be the answer. I'm not very sure. Option D is the answer given. Okay, 7th February 2020. Again, I'm not sure if you really need to remember the exact date. So probably a couple of questions which you don't necessarily need to remember. Okay, so this you need to remember, right? This you need to remember. Question number 24 is something which you definitely need to remember. The Constitution Amendment Bill of 2020 seeks to insert which of the following articles? It is Article 47A. Article 47A is sought to be introduced and included in the Constitution. Therefore, the answer is option C. Right? It's just going to be another directive principle of state policy. Another directive principle of state policy in terms of creation of the duties in furtherance of a right to health type concept. Okay, question number 25. We're at the 1/4 mark. We are at the 1/4 mark, and our 25th question. Let me take another quick look at the chat box. So UPS versus symbiosis. Raj Chauhan has a question. UPS versus symbiosis, which one will be better? Symbiosis. If it is about Noida, I'm not very sure, but if it is symbiosis Pune, then that is definitely the better answer. The better law school, right? Okay, which of the following amendments were passed by the Parliament of India? Providing for protection and security to the Prime Minister and the immediate family at the official residence. That is the SPG. Delhi. Option D, Special Protection Group. Special Protection Group Amendment Bill 2019. So immediate family also will be provided SPG protection in the official residence, etc. I mean, already a lot of these protections were there. just certain amendments, etc. also included. Okay, what is the jail term for triple talaq? For triple talaq, what is the jail term? It is of course 3 years, right, which is the correct answer. But I just I just want to explain a few things. Instant triple talaq is the only form of triple talaq which has been banned in India, right? Also known as talaq-e-biddat, right? Also known as talaq-e-biddat, and the punishment or the imprisonment, whatever, is basically for a period of 3 years, right? For a period of 3 years. So option B, Bombay, is the correct, absolutely correct answer in this case. Okay, question number 27. Question number 27. What is the question? It says, who moved the unlawful activity? UAPA. UAPA. So UAPA का जिम्मेदार कौन है? Very very famous law again, and it is of course the Ministry of Home Affairs, which is in charge of security within the territory of India, right? So who would be moving these bills? This is also basically the Home Minister, the Home Minister of India. That means option C, right? There is no Ministry of Internal Affairs, there is no Union Minister, there are many ministers, right? So it has to be which Home Minister, which minister becomes the question, right? Which minister? Obviously it is the Home Minister in this particular case. Okay, 28. Recently, the Parliament passed an amendment bill to increase the number of Supreme Court judges to 33 from earlier it was 30. Okay, what is the name of the bill? B, Bombay. Supreme Court number of judges amendment bill. Supreme Court number of judges amendment bill, and the total strength is currently how much? How much is the current total strength of the Supreme Court? Rinisha Meena says Hindi. क्या करें हिंदी का? रिनीशा, हिंदी में बताऊं? मैं पढ़ के हिंदी में सुनाऊं? कैसे होगा? आपका एग्जाम इंग्लिश में होगा, समस्या ये है. At the end of the day, the problem is the examination is in English. No, कुछ कुछ समझाना हो तो मैं बता सकता हूँ, right? तो अगर कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है रिनीशा, you can of course ask me, right? Okay. Okay, the Special Economic Zones Amendment Bill 2019 allows dash to set up units in the SEZ, Special Economic Zones. After earlier companies were allowed, whether it is a private company or a public company or a government company, right, or it is individuals, anybody could set up an SEZ. But after this amendment, after this particular amendment, now even trusts are allowed to set up units in the SEZ. Even trusts are now allowed to set up units in the SEZ. Okay, question number 30. The Citizenship Amendment Act was challenged on the ground of violating which fundamental right as enshrined in the Constitution of India? Challenged on which ground? It is, nobody is saying that it is unconstitutional, right? I mean, there is no conclusion. The court has not held it, right? Currently, no court has declared this law to be unconstitutional. Okay, but of course it has been challenged. Okay, challenged under which particular provision? Challenged under right to equality, that some people are getting this benefit of lesser eligibility triggers for getting citizenship in India. Nagarikta Sanshodhan Kanun, right? Citizenship Amendment Act. So some people are getting this benefit, some people are not getting this benefit. So this is a violation of equality, is the allegation. Violation of equality is the allegation. Okay, sir, are there any SEZ in India? Hundreds of SEZ, special economic zones, right? Hundreds, many places it is there, right? I mean, there's there in UP, it is there in Gujarat, it is there in Maharashtra. So there are some special benefits like tax benefits, electricity cost benefits, employment compliance benefits. Various kind of benefits are provided in SEZs, right? Special economic zones. There is a minimum investment requirement. This, that, so many factors are there. Okay, सर इसका PDF अवेलेबल है क्या? नहीं, मेरे पास तो है but it's on YouTube. How would it be uploaded? No. Okay, Madhu, sir, is 1 month enough to clear AILET for an All India civil resident? All India civil resident? What's possible is just an interesting question. Like, what is All India civil resident? Civil resident, criminal resident, military resident, it won't make any difference in the AILET examination, right? But it's of course a challenge, right? It is of course a challenge, but of course, honestly, I wouldn't say that it is not doable, right? It is possible to do it. It is possible to crack it. It's just there are a lot of challenges that are there, right? Okay, so Gradeup team has kindly responded here saying, Ritesh, we will provide the PDF of this session. So I think they're going to do it on the app or provide a link to you in the description if possible, right? Possible. Okay. Member of the group is messaging me, Saif. अच्छा, Saif ने delete ही कर दिया. अब बताओ, is Narsi Monji a good college for law? It is, Divyanshi, but again, it would not be falling in the good category. It falls in the slightly below good, above average probably. Above average would be the correct classification. The lower NLUs are good colleges, right? The top 10 are very good colleges and the top 2-3 are excellent and the best colleges. Narsi Monji is not on that list. It's slightly lower, so it is still above average, but I don't think you can say that it is a good college. Nope, I don't think so. Okay, 30% done. What is the doctrine established in Kesavananda Bharati vs. State of Kerala judgment? Okay, this is too easy. This is too easy question. I'm sure everybody knows that the answer is the basic structure doctrine, right? The basic structure doctrine. And any person who is preparing, for CLAT 2021 and still doesn't know the answer to this before I told you, prep is going very bad. Okay, your preparation is definitely going very, very bad, because the correct answer of course is option A, basic structure doctrine. Okay, 32. Okay, Puttaswamy case. Again, Puttaswamy case, very, very famous, very famous case. Again, I'm hoping everybody knows the answer to this. Same comment I think I should repeat for this also. Sorry, what has happened? Yes. Yes, same problem here as well. Sir, according to you, will the college matter or not if we really do good in academics from a non-NLU? No, I mean, at the end of the day, it matters to some extent. Manu Singh says, sir, I'm taking your class for the first time. Hey Manu, hi, what's up? Welcome to the Gradeup YouTube channel, or at least welcome to my sessions. I hope you're having a good time. Army Institute of Law provides only 4 seats for All India civil residents not from Punjab. Yeah, so it does not make any difference at NLU Delhi, Madhu. That's why I said defense civil, that distinction is irrelevant for NLU Delhi. I am sure it makes a difference in this particular what is this? ये क्या हुआ है अलग से? Just give me 1 second, guys. Where did it go? Okay. Why is the display a little screwed up somehow? Anyway, it is right to privacy. The right to privacy has to be the correct answer. There's some problem with the PPT here. Okay, आ गया ना? So right to privacy and option B, Bombay is the correct answer. Okay, ठीक है. Which of the following is not a fundamental right? Okay, again, very easy question. Right, which right is not a fundamental right? Which of the following is not a fundamental right? The correct answer is right to property. Right to property was a fundamental right earlier under Article 19(1)(f), right, but was removed by the 44th amendment in the year 1978. Okay, so correct answer therefore is option B, Bombay. Option B, Bombay is the correct answer in this situation. Okay, question number 34. We're done with 1/3, exactly on the 1/3 mark. Which of the following rights is not enshrined under Article 19 Clause 1? Obviously right to equality, right? Obviously the answer is right to equality. Right to equality is Article 14. This is Article 14 and therefore option C is the right answer. Got it, everyone? 35. Which case of the Supreme Court declared we've already done this, right? Shaira Bano versus Union of India. Shaira Bano versus Union of India, something we have already discussed. Okay, Article 19 of the Constitution of India states that which of the following rights is guaranteed as a freedom? Right to vote. Right to vote is under the Representation of People's Act. Okay, this is Representation of People's Act 1951. Same thing. This is also Representation of People's Act 1951. Right to citizenship. Well, there is no right to citizenship. No right. Rather, it is subject to Part 2 of the Constitution of India and Citizenship Act 1955. Right, so the correct answer therefore is option B. Right, correct answer. This therefore is the correct answer. Okay, some additional information. I hope all of you have some pen and paper, etc., and are noting down some things that we are discussing as well. Right. Okay, 36 is option B, right of peaceful assembly. Right to assemble without arms is the correct answer. Okay, public employment by the state as per the constitution must be done on the grounds of equality. Public employment must be done. Public employment must be done. That is Article 16. Article 16 deals with employment. Okay, this is again, let me just try to point out: general protection against discrimination, specific to public employment. 17 is abolition of untouchability, and this of course is abolition of titles. ठीक है, सारे आर्टिकल्स के बारे में आपको कुछ कुछ पता चल चुका है. सारे आर्टिकल्स के बारे में कुछ कुछ पता चल चुका है. क्वेश्चन नंबर 37 ऑप्शन बी, बॉम्बे, of course, is the correct answer. Right? Okay, 38. DPSP's Directive Principles of State Policy has been borrowed from which country's constitution? It is the Constitution of Ireland. We have borrowed this concept, this idea from Ireland कि सरकार को क्या क्या करना चाहिए, what all should the government be doing even if something is not enforceable. Okay, even if something is not enforceable. From which right does the right to education emanate from? Right to education emanates, of course, from a right to life. Right to education emanates from a right to life. That means Article 21. That means Article 21 is right to life. Okay, please note, however, further, Article 21A, right, has been included now by the 86th amendment to the Constitution. Okay, now it has been included, but in any case, right to life, Unni Krishnan versus State of Tamil Nadu. Unni Krishnan versus State of Tamil Nadu. Supreme Court had already said that every person between the age of 6 to 14 in India shall have a right to free and compulsory education. Right to free and compulsory education. Okay, show us some love, like the session. That's true, guys. बताओ, हर स्लाइड में मैं कुछ कुछ एक्स्ट्रा लिख के भी बता रहा हूँ. I'm typing out other information that I have. You should be showing us some love for sure, right? So that I can continue giving you additional information and so on. Please do drop us a like, okay? Yash Mittal says, good afternoon, sir. Very good afternoon, Yash. Hi, friends. तुम मैं friend नहीं हो क्या? Yash, ऐसा क्या हो गया? Okay, which part of the Constitution mentions directive principles of state policy? It is part 4. Part 1 is the union. Part 2 is citizenship. Right? Part 1. पर लिख ही देता हूँ. कहाँ गया? Question number 40 पे आ चुके हैं. Part 1 is the union. Part 2 is citizenship. Part 3 is fundamental rights. Part 4 is directive principles of state policies. Okay, so the correct answer therefore, of course, is option B, Bombay. Option D, Delhi. Part 4 is directive principles of state policy. Okay, 41. When does the post of the President of India fall vacant? On resignation by the President and on expiry of the term. Right? Only A and B. All of the above. So matlab both are correct answer. No? Option C and D mein what the hell is the difference? Okay, option C and D both are therefore correct answer. Both are correct answer. Resignation हो सकता है. I mean, it can be death also, right? It can be death also. It's a little tricky, I think. Please ignore question number 41 in my opinion. Just ignore 41 for the time being. Okay, when can the Indian Prime Minister be ineligible to participate in voting in a no confidence motion against his or her government before it becomes a gender issue? Before it becomes a gender issue, his or her government. Okay, his सिर्फ क्यों करेंगे, his or her कर देते हैं. We've had women prime ministers, right? Only one woman prime minister, but I mean we've had a woman prime minister if he's a member of the Rajya Sabha, because no confidence motion is going to be in the Lok Sabha, right? No confidence motion is going to be in the Lok Sabha. So if he's a member of the Rajya Sabha, not eligible to vote, right? And we have had two prime ministers from the Rajya Sabha, only 2 PMs from the Rajya Sabha till date. First is, of course, Mrs. Indira Nehru Gandhi and Dr. Manmohan Singh. Okay, we have had 2 prime ministers from the Rajya Sabha. So that's the correct answer. Okay, anyway, 43. Who was the first Indian Prime Minister who resigned from office? Who was the first Prime Minister who resigned from office? That is Morarji Desai, right? When he had become Prime Minister in 1977 and resigned in 1980, right? 1980 में again Indira Gandhi, the election हुआ etc. and Indira Gandhi again won the election, and of course Indira Gandhi continued in the Prime Minister's office until 1984 when Indira Gandhi was shot dead and murdered, right? Till that time she continued as the Prime Minister of India. Okay, who decides the foreign policy? Who decides the foreign policy of India? Technically it is the Council of Ministers. Technically it is the Council of Ministers, of course headed by the Prime Minister, and specifically there is the Minister for External Affairs, right? But it is the Council of Ministers who decides the foreign policy. Now also please note down the current Minister for External Affairs. Who is the current Minister for External Affairs? Who is it? S. Jaishankar. Okay, Subramaniam Jaishankar is the current Minister for External Affairs. Okay, 45. In order for a candidate to be eligible to be elected as the President of India, what must be the minimum age? ये तो सबको पता ही होगा ना? I am sure everybody knows the answer. It is 35. 25 is for Lok Sabha, 30 is for Rajya Sabha, right? 38 is for nothing. I don't know any age, minimum age of 38 required anywhere. I don't know at least. Which of the landmark cases the concept of a contract with a minor is void ab initio? Option C, Mohari Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh. Mohari Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh is the correct answer. Just please remember it. Contract with a minor is void ab initio, is Mohari Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh. Okay. In which of the following landmark cases had the Supreme Court ruled that the second marriage of a Hindu man is invalid even if he converts to Islam before marriage? Even if the conversion is before the marriage. Which is that case? Very, very landmark case. Sarla Mudgal case. Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India. Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India. Second marriage is invalid even if the man has converted to Islam, right? Okay, in which of the following cases would have the Parliament has the right to amend fundamental rights as provided in the Constitution? Okay, Parliament can amend. Parliament can amend is Sankari Prasad case. Okay, the correct answer is Sankari Prasad case, of course. This is the correct answer. Okay, but please remember Sankari Prasad case of 1951 was amended in not amended, overruled by this case, by the Supreme Court in 1973. In which case? In the case of Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. So in Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, anyway, the Supreme Court went ahead and overruled the Sankari Prasad judgment, and therefore that's basically what you guys should remember, that is not the current rule. That is not the current rule in this case, right? Just give me 1 second. Okay, so that's that. Okay, let's move on. We are almost on the halfway mark. We are almost. Can amend fundamental rights but not basic structure in the Kesavananda Bharati case? No, that's not correct. Anonymous user, that is not the position when it comes to Kesavananda Bharati judgment. In the Kesavananda Bharati judgment, it basically said, yes, basic structure cannot be amended, but all fundamental rights are essentially part of basic structure today. Right? All fundamental rights are essentially part of basic structure today. So just remember that. Okay. Shankari Prasad. Okay. Which of the following is not a feature of the Constitution of India? Which of the following is not a feature of the Constitution of India? Dual citizenship, of course, is not a feature of the Constitution of India. Of course, we have a right to equality. Of course, we have secularism, and we have one citizenship. We have one citizenship. Okay. In which landmark case? Was it held that the preamble is not a part of the Constitution? In re Berubari case. In re Berubari case. In re means basically that this is an advisory judgment. This is an advisory judgment of the Supreme Court. Right? Advisory opinion of the Supreme Court under Article 143 of the Constitution of India. Okay, under Article 143 of the Constitution of India in Re Berubari case. Okay, halfway mark we are done with. Last 50 questions. We'll try to go as fast and as quickly as possible. From which of the country was the concept? Judicial review was, of course, United States of America. Judicial review is United States of America. कुछ करना नहीं है इसमें, आपको सिर्फ याद रखने की जरूरत है. You just need to mug it up. You just need to mug it up. Okay, so option C. Okay, which of the following scenarios the president cannot declare an emergency? War with Pakistan, armed rebellion in Delhi, the collapse of the government in Assam. Cannot declare, no. Naxal attack in Jharkhand. Naxal attack in Jharkhand, emergency cannot be declared. Government collapse होगा तो under 356 Assam में तो emergency हो ही सकता है. At least in Assam, emergency can be imposed, right? So that's the interesting thing here. Okay, let's move on. Which of them provides for the President of India is Article 52. Article 52 is a very, very simple article. Article 52 simply says there shall be a President of India. इतना ही लिखा ही है उस पूरे आर्टिकल में, सिर्फ इतना ही लिखा है. And 61 is impeachment of the president, right? Which of the following key elements is not part of the preamble? Secular, sovereign, socialist, democratic, federal. India is not a federalism, is not something which is mentioned in the preamble. Secular, sovereign, socialist, democratic republic. These are the words that are used in one place, but the word federal is not used in the preamble. Okay. Impeachment of the president, I've already discussed. Article 61 deals with impeachment. So 52 says there shall be a president. 61 talks about how the president can be impeached, how the president can be removed basically from office. Okay. Offers and counter offers. This is now we're talking about a little bit of contract law. This is Hyde versus Wrench, right? Hyde versus Wrench is the very famous case for offers and counter offers. Again, this is not something that you necessarily need for your CLAT exam, but of course you will study this when you go to law school, and hopefully a lot of you will be studying this case in National Law School of India, University, Bangalore. Bangalore में पढ़ना चाहते हो ना ये वाला केस? Bangalore मतलब Bangalore शहर में नहीं, it's not about the city. You should be, I'm hoping some of you will study this in Nalsar campus, some of you will study this in NUJS campus, some of you in NLS Bangalore campus, you know, and have a lot of fun. Definition of contract is section 2H of the Indian Contract Act. Section 2H of the Indian Contract Act defines what is a contract. And what is this definition? What is the definition of a contract? Definition is any agreement that is enforceable by law. Any agreement that is enforceable by law is basically a contract. क्यों सर, क्यों किसी और में नहीं पढ़ाया जाएगा? अरे किसी और में पढ़ाया जाएगा, बट मेरे कहने का मतलब था दैट आप एनएलएस बैंगलोर में पढ़ोगे मतलब यू विल गेट एडमिशन इन एनएलएस बैंगलोर, तब तो वहां पढ़ोगे ना. दैट्स द पॉइंट. पढ़ाया तो माँ वैष्णो देवी लॉ कॉलेज में भी जाएगा, लखनऊ में है, फैजाबाद की तरफ अयोध्या वाली रोड में ना, माँ वैष्णो देवी लॉ कॉलेज में भी पढ़ाया तो जाएगा शायद, लेकिन एनएलएस बैंगलोर में एडमिशन मिलके वहां पर पढ़ोगे तो थोड़ा ज्यादा माहौल रहता है ना. एनी एग्रीमेंट दैट इज एनफोर्सेबल. ओके, सो इसलिए बता रहा था मैं. सैफ भाई तो एकदम भावनाओं को समझ नहीं रहे हो. ओके, 58. इन द केस ऑफ अ कंटिंजेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, which of the following is true? Okay, it's a void contract, it never becomes void. ये तो अलग ही बात हो गई है. It becomes void when the event becomes impossible. Yes, 58 is option C, contingency. Contingent means it depends on a future event, depends on a future contingency. So अगर वो contingency नहीं हो सकती, contract becomes impossible to perform. Contract becomes impossible to perform. Okay, free consent. Which of the following section deals with free consent? Free consent is section 14. Again, I don't think you need to remember the sections of the Indian Contract Act for your CLAT exam. But if you want to revise sometime later on, maybe there is no harm in remembering it. There is no harm in remembering it. Okay, in which of the following landmark cases was it held that the threat to commit suicide amounted to coercion? Coercion में आएगा. Coercion is when you are forcing somebody, right? और उसमें अगर कुछ sign कराया है, then the contract is voidable. If you have forced me, if you have blackmailed me, then I can avoid the contract. That is Chikkam Ammi Raju versus Chikkam Sheshamma. Okay, Chikkam Ammi Raju versus Chikkam Sheshamma. That is option C, which is the correct, absolutely correct answer. Okay, section 15 of the Indian Contract Act defines, again, I doubt they will ask you this kind of question, but the correct answer here is coercion. Section 15 is coercion. Okay, एक बार chat में देख लें. What is coercion? Ashwini, what is coercion? What is coercion? Coercion is basically acquiring somebody's consent or agreement by way of threatening to use force, threatening to use unlawful force, or actually using unlawful force against that person. Okay, this is basically coercion. This is basically coercion. What I would suggest is booster batch, booster batch 3 and 4, right? Have my specific lectures along with other faculty lectures on the app. Please come there, right? Please come there where I have gone on with detailed example, etc, etc. ये सारे topics, undue influence, fraud, free consent, misrepresentation, coercion, all of these things are things that we will sort of keep on discussing, right? We will keep on discussing. So please do join us on the app for the most comprehensive sort of kind of understanding, right? Okay, okay, कहाँ गए हम लोग? Okay, ये हो गया. Question number 62 पे जाते हैं. Section dash of the Indian Contract Act states that the parties to a contract are under obligation to either perform or offer to perform the promises which have been agreed. Okay, so that is like pacta sunt servanda, right? The treaty is binding or the terms are binding. That is section 30. 35, 37. Should be section 37. Just check this once again. I don't think these kind of direct questions would be asked to you, but there is no harm in knowing this. Okay, from the following features, which is not an essential feature of a contract, should be in writing? No, contracts don't have to be in writing. Contracts don't have to be in writing. Oral contracts are absolutely valid. Oral contracts are absolutely valid. Please remember this. Oral contracts are absolutely valid under Indian. Okay, so that's that. Okay, option A is therefore the not an essential condition. Not an essential condition. Minor's capacity, अच्छा वो तो हम देख चुके हैं. If a minor is in there in a contract, then the contract is void ab initio. That is Mohari Bibi versus धर्मोदास घोष. धर्मोदार नहीं है, यहाँ पर स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक हो गया, धर्मोदास घोष. ओके, इन द लैंडमार्क केस ऑफ क्रेल वर्सेस हेनरी, in the landmark case of Krell versus Henry, which of the following doctrines was discussed? That is doctrine of frustration. Doctrine of frustration was discussed, which is impossibility of performance. Impossibility of performance. Impossibility of performance. That is, if the terms of a contract become impossible to perform, the party which does not perform the contract shall not be liable for the violation or breach of the contract. Okay, that's the idea. That is the idea of what is doctrine of frustration. अगेन इसमें बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, ये अगेन हम क्लासेस में इसको काफी डिटेल में डिस्कस करते हैं, राइट. इनफैक्ट CLAT 2020 had a specific whole passage on enforceability of contract for the context of lockdown, और लॉकडाउन के टाइम पे क्या है क्या नहीं है, and so on. So just to give all of you an idea, ये काफी popular type का topic है. So again, in our comprehensive batches for 2022 as well as in the booster batches for 21, I keep discussing all of these concepts. Please do join us and join me in those comprehensive lectures. अगर इसमें से कुछ भी अभी अगर समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, the best place is the app. ऐप पे ये सब ज्यादा डिटेल में हो गए. ओके, उबेरिमा फिडे, अगेन ये हमने मैक्सिम्स के सेशन में स्पेसिफिकली डिस्कस किया हुआ है. उबेरिमा फिडेस is basically a promise should be made in good faith. A promise should be made in good faith. If you are having a medical condition, you should not be hiding it, you should not be lying about it, and this, that, and the other. Okay, which sections of the Indian Contract specifically deal with the concept of quasi contracts, things which are like a contract basically. That is section 65 onwards, no, 66 onwards, no. 68 to 72 is probably the safer answer. 68 to, yeah, that's the correct answer. 68 to 72. Again, I don't think you really need to sort of remember this. 68, okay, which chapter? ये तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं याद रखने की जरूरत है, बिल्कुल याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. I think the answer is chapter 5, 6, 5 है ही नहीं, 6. Then the answer is definitely 6, but again, you don't need to remember this. I'll just quickly move on. इससे पहले कि कोई भी कुछ भी कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है. Okay, in the case of minor has been enriched unjustly in accordance with the law of contract, equity therein demands that the goods of the property should be restored. Restore करना है doctrine of restitution. When you are restoring somebody, restoration नहीं है, it is doctrine of restitution. In the law of torts also, compensation is calculated on the basis of the same principle. It is calculated on the basis of the same principle, so just try to remember it. Doctrine of restitution. Okay. Which of the following defenses may be availed in the case a signing party wishes to opt out of performance of the agreement that is different from what the signing party intended to sign. Non est factum. Option A, the defense of non est factum. Again, if you're looking for Latin phrases, right, AP Bharadwaj is one of the best places to study maxims. Okay, just try to remember this. AP Bharadwaj is one of the best places to study legal maxims if you want to. In this case, the correct answer is option A, the defense of non est factum. Right, कि fact अलग है यहाँ पर, there is something different and therefore I will not sign it. Okay. Consequential damages. Consequential damages is section 71 is normal breach, 73 is consequential damages. 73 is consequential damages. Okay. According to section 39, again, I don't think you need to remember it section wise. We've had about 5-6 questions जो इस type के हो गए हैं, तो इतना डिटेल में जरूरत तो है नहीं. Okay. If one party refuses to perform the entirety of their promise, the other party may end the contract unless the other party has signified its consent for continuance of contract. This is breach of contract. Okay, it amounts to the other party ends the contract. It amounts to a breach. What is this known as? So breach अगर हो चुका है, then it is of course going to be repudiation of the contract. If breach has already happened, then basically you are repudiating or you are cancelling basically the contract. That's the idea. Okay. Which of the following landmark cases? Which of the following landmark cases deals with the concept of fundamental breach of contract? That is Datar switchgear. Maharashtra State Electricity Distribution Limited versus Datar switchgear case, famously known as the Datar switchgear case only, so you can just remember it. Fundamental breach, right? Fundamental breach is basically Maharashtra Electricity versus Datar switchgear. 74. Which of the following term refers to the process of substituting an existing contract for a new one? Naya contract. New contract is novation. Novation of contract is a new contract that we have gotten. Okay. Which of the following doctrines in the contract law deals with the practice of settling down rules? Default rules for a contract. Okay, default rules for a contract, that is doctrine of implied term. Understood है, कोई चीज अगर understood होती है, that's basically implied term, which is option B, Bombay in this case. 75 is B for Bombay. Okay. Tort is a right in rem or a right in personam. In person का right है, right in law का right है. It is a right in law. It is a right in law. It is a right in rem. Okay. 76 is again option B. Okay. IPC is to codified law. Law of tort is uncodified. किसी particular act में नहीं है ना. IPC का तो एक act है, आपको पता है. IPC लिखेंगे, you will be able to find it. But law of tort is an uncodified. ऐसा नहीं कि पार्लियामेंट का अलग से ये एक्ट है, वो ईयर है, यहीं आपको मिलेगा. नो नो, इट इज बहुत सारे केसेस से हमने सुना, समझा, जाना, सीखा, राइट? So we learned, we remembered, we evolved, and so on. Absolute liability is Bhopal gas tragedy was the first time it happened, right? Bhopal gas tragedy, oleum gas leakage, both. But the most landmark case here is the oleum gas leak case. The oleum gas leak case is the most landmark one. Okay. Voluntary non-fit injury again. Very, very easy question. Person who is the wrongdoer, no, that is plaintiff's own fault. Inhibitor, option A is plaintiff's own fault. Option D, plaintiff who has consented, खुद ही agree किया है, cannot seek damages. 79 is option D, Delhi. Okay, 79 is Delhi. 80, which of the following is not a general defense? Private defense तो defense है, necessity is a defense, Inevitable accident is a defense, but public defense कोई defense नहीं है. Private defense, the right to private defense is a defense. Okay. Injuria sine damnum, here that is legal injury without actual damage. So if you set up a rival business that ruined my business, there is no legal injury, but there is actual damage, right? There is actual damage, but there is no legal injury. Injuria sine damnum and damnum sine injuria. So option C is damage without legal injury, right? Option A is damage plus legal injury. Trespass also has happened, so legal injury. You have stolen my goods, that is damage. Okay. Option B, you trespass into my property, that means legal injury, but did not cause any damage without any damage. Legal injury without actual damage. Option B, Bombay, is injuria sine damnum. Okay. 82. Tort has been derived from the Latin word tortum. 82 का आंसर from the Latin word tortum. कौन से वर्ड से आया है, कौन सा वर्ड क्या है वो भी मैं लिख ही देता हूं. That the word is, Latin word is tortum. Okay. Okay. Question number 4. अभी थोड़ा सा I think easy questions हैं. Absolute liability is which of the following? Strict liability minus any exceptions. Absolute liability has no defenses, right? Absolute liability has no defenses, so it is strict liability minus the exceptions. Because strict liability में there are some defenses. Strict liability में there are some defenses. Absolute liability has no defenses. Okay. Rylance versus Fletcher laid down the principle of which tort liability, that is strict liability. Rylance versus Fletcher is strict liability. Very easy question. If you don't know it, please note it down. You can just pause the video अगर थोड़ा सा fast जा रहा है, but बहुत ज़्यादा easy question है, so I'm not wasting time on it. Okay, Lister versus Hesley Hall is a landmark English case which is ultimately known for which of the following? It is known for vicarious liability. सबको पता है ना, master servant liability. Master shall be liable for the acts of the servant done within the course of employment. Done within the course of employment, that is vicarious liability. Okay. The foundation of the modern law of tort on negligence. Negligence का कौन सा main case है? Donoghue versus Stevenson. The main case for negligence is Donoghue versus Stevenson, popularly known as the snail in a ginger beer bottle case. Okay, snail in a ginger beer bottle case is Donoghue versus Stevenson, and that is of course the landmark case, the most important case for negligence. Okay. Okay, if you commit an act that interferes with my enjoyment of property that I have possession over, and such an act is unreasonable, you are committing. Interferes with enjoyment. Interferes with enjoyment is nuisance. Again, these are all concepts. These are all concepts that we keep discussing, right? These are all concepts which are discussed in detail in the apt comprehensive courses by me. These are all discussed specifically, right? Concepts which are discussed in very detail in all the apt courses. So जितने भी comprehensive वाले batches हैं, please do join me there. अगर लग रहा है कि अरे ये दोनों में difference क्या है, कुछ है, अभी मैराथन सेशन के बीच में मैं ट्रेसपास और नुइसेंस का डिफरेंस नहीं बता पाऊंगा, राइट, बट कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव कोर्स वाले में बिल्कुल हम ये सब डिस्कस करते हैं. आई डिसलाइक यू एंड thus I institute a case for you which you are prosecuted. फॉल्स केस, फॉल्स केस, जानबूझ के हरास करने के लिए अगर मैं फॉल्स केस करूं what would you be able to do? You will be able to file a case for malicious prosecution. You can file a case for malicious prosecution. Knowingly, intentionally, I have tried to harass you. Okay? Pigeonhole theory. Pigeonhole theory was propounded by whom? Salmond. Salmond on torts is the world's most famous torts. So Jeremy Bentham is positivist theory. Winfield is a very famous jurist in tort. John Locke is theory of equality and social contract. Some of you who are students of political science might have probably read about Locke and Hobbes and Bentham and so on. Okay, which of the following may not be proved for the tort of negligence? Breach of duty, yes. Damage, yes. Breach of duty owed to someone. Option C, breach of duty owed to someone. No, जिसको damage हुआ है, right? जिसको damage हुआ है, did I have a duty to that person? That is what is most important. That is what is most essential. Okay, right, friends, right, guys. क्या मामला? सही है ना? We are at last 10 questions पे आ चुके हैं हम लोग. ऐसा कुछ अच्छी फीलिंग आ रही है क्या? Down to the last 10 questions, right? Down to the last 10 questions. Just wanted to take a deep breath myself, because काफी questions से हम लोग काफी ज़्यादा aggressive speed के साथ जीवन में बढ़ तो रहे हैं, right? Okay. If I start playing loud music in the middle of the night, it would amount to nuisance. यही है ना? Unreasonable interference होगा, तो फिर nuisance ही होगा. Okay. Which of the following would constitute libel? Okay, मतलब libel और slander में क्या difference है? लिबेल मतलब एक परमानेंट फॉर्म में अगर पब्लिकेशन हुआ है, परमानेंट रिटन फॉर्म, राइट? सिर्फ बोल रहे हैं तो नहीं होगा, राइट? सो ऑप्शन बी फॉर एग्जांपल स्पीच दे रहा है, सो परमानेंट नहीं है, रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं हो रहा है, इट्स नॉट परमानेंट, सो दैट कैन बी स्लैंडर बट इट कैन नॉट बी लिबेल. ऑप्शन ए इज डेफिनेटली लिबेल बिकॉज इट इज इन अ रिटन फॉर्म, इट इज इन अ मोर permanent form. Okay, 92 is option A. 93, when certain words appear harmless but have a covert defamatory, that is innuendo, double meaning. सुना है ना, double meaning. मैं अगर कुछ कहना चाह रहा हूँ, so if a batsman played in a cricket match, and scored 0 score किया, और उसके बाद मैं कहूँ कि वाह, मतलब this is the most fantastic and spectacular performance and redefining the sport of cricket itself. That is how magnificent and great this performance was. This obviously I mean something else, right? It's a double meaning kind of a thing. The answer has to be innuendo, double meaning. Okay. Nuisance is a wrong under, or it can be both, under criminal law as well as tort law, right? Because public nuisance is a criminal law as well. It is covered under criminal law as well. Okay, one of the main elements for defamation, one of the main elements, so making false statements about someone, yes, of course. Presence of an audience is not required. Presence of one person, one extra person is also enough. One extra person is also enough. 95 is option A is the correct answer. Okay, what is the exact constitutional status of the Indian Republic? The Indian Republic was a democratic, sovereign, socialist नहीं आया था ना उसमें, secular. Option B, Bombay would be the right answer. Okay guys, just give me 1 second, somebody at the door. Okay. Who among the following acts as the presiding officer of the house without being its member? Without being its member, कौन है? चेयरपर्सन ऑफ द राज्यसभा. कौन है चेयरपर्सन ऑफ द राज्यसभा? सबको पता होना चाहिए. वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया, राइट? Question number 97 is option A. Acting chairman by default is the VP. Which of the following lists of the Indian Constitution is the subject if the population control and family planning is included? Okay, do you really should be knowing this much also? Which of the following lists? Seems like it should be concurrent list, but I mean honestly, I don't expect the CLAT committee to ask you questions in this much detail, no? Must be the concurrent list if I had to guess. And okay, yeah, it is it is the correct answer, but again, I'm not sure if you really need this. Okay, under which of the following circumstances can the president declare an emergency? Okay, external aggression, yes. Armed rebellion, also yes. Financial crisis, also yes, right? So 352, 356 and 360, which means all of the above. Option D has to be the right answer. And we have come to the last question. Under which article of the Constitution of India can the President of India be impeached? And like an absolute anti-climax, this is a question जो हम लोग आज के PPT में पहले भी कर चुके हैं. The correct answer is of course Article 61 of the Constitution, right? Impeachment is under Article 61. Okay, so July 1st, before we wrap up, काफी सारे questions तो कर लिए. Those of you who are for the 2023 batch, on July 1st we are launching the 2-year program. We of course have it's been a long time since we wanted to sort of get you to know the faculty members as well. मेरे बारे में थोड़ा ज़्यादा लिख दिया, इतना सब कुछ नहीं है, मुझे कम आता है, but Surajit, Nivedita, Abhimanyu are all fantastic people that you will get to meet through the sessions, right? And some of the other people like KD sir, Alpa ma'am, Vinod sir, Ashutosh sir, Ankur, Salik, as well as Rabia, who teaches a lot of the current affairs. There's a lot of interplay that keeps happening, right? So feel free to reach out to all of us, right? You can of course continue with all your subscriptions. Use the Summer of Hope discount code for the time being. That is Hope50, which will be active today and until tomorrow. But अब इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप कल ही तक वेट करें, क्योंकि पढ़ाई आपका इंतजार और भारत का कंपटीशन आपका इंतजार डेफिनेटली नहीं कर रहा है, right? So prepare accordingly. Thank you very much. Long session. Okay, I'm gonna definitely go take a breather, na Srishti? Yes, Srishti. That is exactly what my plan is, for sure. In the meanwhile, thank you very much. I will see you guys very soon. Have a lovely day ahead of you. Bye everyone.